Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to be looking at fractions again today. The eagle-eyed ones amongst you will already notice that this page you can't really do it because let's test your partner, but I thought I'd leave this up here. If you've got someone, maybe a sibling, older or younger, if they've been in a couple of years of you at home, then you could test it with them maybe, and it'd be a nice game to do. So if that's something you want to do, give this pause and ask them if they want to do it. But otherwise, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at multiplying proper fractions by a whole number. So very, very similar to what we did yesterday. But yesterday we were getting the basics, we were working with small numbers. Today we're going to be looking at some larger numbers. We're going to be thinking about using some of these star words as well. So let's get into it. If we're looking here, this is the new learning. This is basically similar to what we did yesterday. If you remember yesterday, one of the misconceptions we were looking at is that the denominator here changes. The denominator does not change. The only time we change the denominator is when we want to convert it into a different fraction. So all you need to do, it's really very simple, is just multiply the numerator, the top number here, by the number here. So in this case, if we've got 1 times 7, that's 7. So 1/2 times 7 is just 7 halves. Really simple. If you're feeling confident about this, pause the video now and try the others. For everyone else who's maybe not feeling as confident, or if you've just done it and you want to check your answers, we'll go through them now. So 2 times 4 is 8, so 2/3 times 4 is just 8/3. So we'll come back to talk about that as a mixed number in a second. Here we've got 3/4 times 5, then 3 times 5 is 15. So 3/4 is 15 quarters. And of course 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/5 times 3 is just 9/5. Really nice and straightforward. So if we keep looking at this, then we can think about, okay, when are we going to use this sort of thing? Well, there are some real world examples. And in fact, that's what I'd like you to do now. So we'll go through one example here. You could say, for example, using the old pizza model, the circle model, you could think, right, if I've got 2/3 of a pizza, let's draw a circle here. I've got 2/3 of it, which would be something like, whenever I'm doing thirds, I like to think of it like the Mercedes symbol, or you can do a Y if you want to do it the other way. So here we go, we've got the thirds here, and if I've got 2/3 of it, shade that here, and if I've got that 5 times 2, 3, 4, 5, then of course I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 thirds. So far so simple. But you can also take this and make this 3 1/3. How? Well, what you do is, if I ungroup these, then you can just take these amounts, whoops, and put them here. Okay, so now I don't need this empty pizza, as it were. Now I've got this, so I've got 2 whole pizzas and 2 2/3 pizzas. So rather than do that, I'm going to grab these. I'm going to take this over here, and now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3 whole pizzas and 1 extra third. That's why it's 3 1/3. And this is quite simple. If you've got 5 John Chesson pizzas, each pizza is cut into 3 pieces. Each child eats 2/3 of a pizza. All together, they eat 3 1/3 pizzas. That means if you wanted to buy a pizza and you know this is how much it's going to go, you're going to need 4, and you have 2 slices, 2/3 here, left over. You could try this with your own one, and in fact I encourage you to make your own one. Let's do one together. Let's say we've got the same idea, but instead of using the pizza model, we're going to use the chocolate bar model. And let's say we have a chocolate bar and it's cut into, whoops, I don't like how straight that is. Remember, if you're drawing lines at home, please try and use a ruler. It just looks nice and neat, and it will help you when you come back to school. Let's say we've got a chocolate bar like this, and it's cut into 8. And let's just group that up, and let's say that we have eaten 4. No, you know what, 4, because that'll be 1. Let's do 5 8. So we'd say 5 8. And let's say I had 3 such chocolate bars like that. Why is it not copying? Let's see. Aha, there we go. Well, in this case, I'd have 5 8s times 3, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, I already know this, Mr. Davies. 5 8s times 3, that's going to be 5 times 3 is 15. It's going to be 15 8s. Yes, but what is about as a mixed number? Well, we can use our representation here to see it. What we're going to do is grab these I'm going to say, right, that can go up here, 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 and that can go up here. Now I have one whole chocolate bar here, and 7/8 of one. So I've got one whole and 7/8. This sort of stuff is really, really important when it comes to things like money, when it comes to ordering goods and so forth. So it is a really useful skill. And of course, pizza, as we've seen, if you're catering for a party, not that anyone's having parties at the moment. So moving on, if we're looking at this, can we represent these in some ways? Going back to the chocolate bar idea, this is one I'd like you to try yourself. So pause the video and give it a go. Try it on a piece of paper, and then when you're ready, come back to it and I'll show you how I do it. Now, of course, we did these before, and we did the calculation, and we said, okay, this is going to be 7/2. But what does it actually look like? Well, if we've got half, 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 and then we've got more halves here, half, 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 then we can see that we've got 1, 2, 3 holes and 1/2 here. This basically is how you convert to mixed numbers, this and dividing by the bottom. So we'd have 3 holes and 1/2. And sure enough, if you did 7 divided by 2, not that you'd ever do the plus stop for this, of course, but that's why you get 3 remainder 1. Remember that remainder 1 is the same as 1 over the number you're dividing by. So we've done that before the Christmas break, if you can remember that. Similar idea down here. If we've got 2 times 4, that's going to give us 8/3. But how many holes is that actually going to be? Well, let's see if we've got 2/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's good. But now if I want to take these, break these up, and I'm going to move that over here and that over here. Now I can see that this time I have 2 holes and 1 lot of 2/3, so that's going to be 2 2/3. Right, I hope that makes sense. Remember, if you're not sure about anything, to email me. Here's the independent task, but you'll have the document set for you on Too Simple. Simply use the bars, draw out your own documents, use the example ones to fill them in. If you're able to print it, so much better, but if not, please draw your own chocolate bar models for these ones and try and use these to figure out the calculation, and then, if possible, please write it as a mixed number, just like we did here. Good luck, and let me know how you get on.